chat for people to join.
I'll put the thing in the chat for the people to join. Don't worry, because we need the people to join for there to be viewers in the podcast. But week 2 is in the books, and we are talking results here. So we got a couple pretty pleased owners in the chat. We got Chris of the Bengals, we got James of the Panthers, RJ of the Eagles, and Bill of the Broncos. Who's happier between Bill and Chris? I don't know. I have my guess, but who do you think's happier?
See, Mike, I'm always happy. So I think this week the award's going to go to Bill for happiest or biggest change in mood over 24 hours.
Yeah, that'll work. That'll work. Yeah, I'm pretty pumped. I'm looking at this and I'm realizing that my season my season is over. I don't need anything else to happen. I'm content. Chris is going to destroy the AFC, and I'm not going to have any shot at the 1 seed unless he has a worse record than me somehow. And that's my season. So, yeah.
He's happy.
Hey, man, you're having my week 1 last year, where it's like, if I could just beat the Falcons, I don't care about the rest of the schedule. If I beat the Falcons, I'm the champion.
The thing is, though, I didn't care as much until Goose decided to do his bullshit last night.
I've never seen such a small thing trigger somebody so much as that. I do have to point that out.
I was like, he's obviously going to score. Like, your safety scored 4.8 points. Of course he's going to outscore him. Like, it was just annoying. The saving grace was Derek Carr sucks on prime time, and I couldn't be happier for it.
I love how triggered you are. This is fantastic. Anyways, we got a lot of fun stuff to talk about here. Kind of go division by division. We'll start with the one that, frankly, is just the most fun, the most exciting, and the most stuff just going on. And the very unfortunate thing about this is, even though this is the most fun division, it's got a real asshole leading it. Talking about the AFC North.
I thought there was two choices. There were 3 choices. NFC North,
there were a lot of
AFC East, or AFC North.
Let's not lie. If the only predecessor is there's a real asshole leading it, there's a lot of choices for what division I'm talking about.
Well, all right. Yeah, I am thrilled. You can call me whatever you want. I had a great week. I've had a great start. Like, I am pumped, and I am very excited for Steelers and that guy edging out a couple of his division mates. It's a blast.
I mean, we were talking about, hey, is there a team that makes sense maybe to put it off one more year? Yeah, 3-1, second in this division, and that's gonna be fun.
He has kind of a hard schedule, surprisingly, but I mean, you start off 3-1, like, you are a good chunk of the way along to a playoff berth already. Not to mention that, the other teams have a shot of making the playoffs as well. Like your prediction, Mike, of all 4 teams from the AFC North go to the playoffs. Like, if that happens, that's definitely the first time ever for this league if we get everybody from one division in the playoffs.
Well, Chris, question for you. You finished as the 3rd time highest scorer of all time this week. Last time you were in the top 10, you won a championship. That excites you anymore there?
So there's always a fear that your team peaks too early, but like there should be no correlation from one week's score to another. I'm happy with my team. I'm a little less stressed at this moment after seeing Daniel Jones actually show that he can play for a couple quarters this last week. Prior to that, he looked pretty terrible. But I mean, I've got my core of guys. Now what I'm trying to do is avoid injury, like everybody else that wants to be a competitor. But I was a little disappointed to get that close to the all-time high score and come up short. Like you start thinking, yeah, what if JJ wouldn't have fumbled out of the end zone? What if, he would have caught 2 more passes or got 1 more sack? But I am thrilled. I'm not going to complain about anything.
And
I'm
throughout
thrilled.
2
I'm not going to
weeks,
complain, but I'll complain about these things.
and throughout 2 weeks, you have Jalen Warren, who's doubled up the score of Najee Harris in Pittsburgh. So how's it feel to own the RB1 in Pittsburgh?
It feels great, Panthers. It feels great. Now, yeah, I'll let others talk about Warren. I'm obviously biased owning him, but I'm very happy with the role he's going to have this year.
Owning him, shame on you.
Shame on me.
Well, and look at that. You walked into another third RB1 for 3 weeks with Matt Breida, too.
Yeah, it's against the 49ers, though.
Yeah,
Now-
I'm sorry.
Now the interesting thing, we were looking at this pre-pod here, Mike and I were going through specifically the Ravens schedule for the division. So we were saying despite starting 1-3, of any team that starts that poorly, he's probably got, well, he does have the best firepower to get himself out of that hole. And when you look at the rest of season schedule for him, it's not all that bad. Like worst case scenario when I was looking at it, probably worst case scenario is like 3 more losses for him on there. And the matchup that he's got with me comes in week 13, and I don't have any of my QB, JJ, any of my good linebackers. Hawk is off. Like I don't have a team, so like he gets a win against me in week 13, which is his hardest matchup remaining on the schedule. So looking at that, worst case 2 or 3 more losses, like he is a playoff team coming back from the start, which then lends us to looking at Steelers and Browns, and both of them definitely have schedules that they can finish 11-6, 10-7. Like
Browns is fucked. His whole team keeps getting
okay, so all right, so what if we do it this way? Who's going to finish last in the AFC North by the end of regular season?
I mean, based on current trends, probably the Browns. Like his team just gets getting hurt, but that's not even necessarily true because Kamara comes back in 2 weeks.
He does.
I would, it's kind of hard to say because like all those 3 teams, like the Browns and Ravens definitely have some like cupcake kind of schedules. The Steelers' schedule looks a little bit more difficult. And then, you got the Browns getting players back. And I think there's a little bit less known names on the Steelers that have been producing the points. So, whether or not that stays or not, it's going to be a really tight race, though.
Instead of picking the team, what's going to be the worst record in the AFC North by end of year?
10-6.
Yeah.
7 losses. But who do they come
Jesus.
Each other and like the Lions, and most of them play the Jaguars and like the Lions, and a couple of them I think play the Rams. So they've got a few guys who won divisions last year that could potentially win.
Yeah,
games against
like
them.
I'm looking at the Steelers' schedule just out of the 4. I think the hardest non-division game that he has is me.
You,
or,
you and Jags,
yeah, like that's it.
and he's got Rams too. He's got the Rams on there, so that's another division
He's
winner.
nuts. You guys suck.
It's going to be yeah. It's fun. This is what makes it fun. Like we get this division and then we switch divisions, and like the leader is well below the worst team in the AFC North. And the sad thing is like none of these teams are all that close to like wanting to rebuild. Like I'm never going to rebuild. Ravens isn't going to rebuild. Steelers just completed his rebuild. Like the only one that will consider it is Browns from my perspective, and his team's not even like it's hard to make the call to say, yep, I'm rebuilding with that when it's that good.
Well,
I mean, no part of it says rebuild.
Browns and Steelers are going to come down to stat corrections. Like they're 4 points apart this week. Like they could just switch places. Like, man, this is crazy.
The biggest thing that could hurt the AFC North is essentially like when it comes to just the longevity of the teams.
Yeah, it'll
It's
be
more like the QB RB longevity, like
Yeah.
the Browns with Kamara and with Russell Wilson, and what happens there. The Steelers with Mac Jones. I've been shot, and James Cook. And then the Ravens with I'm learning how to fall correctly. Kansas City replaces their backs. Spears isn't supposed to have knees, but he looked pretty good when I was watching him in Nashville this last week. So who knows?
Yeah, it's gonna be crazy. I don't I don't think that all 4 get in. I could easily see 3, but I think that one of them is going to fall too far to maintain pace with the other AFC runners up in their divisions, whether that be Colts or Jags or Bills or Dolphins or me or Chiefs. I think one of those will take the 7th seed, and then the rest of it will be the AFC North.
It might really just be a battle of who stays healthy. Like if Tua does go down, the Ravens are in a lot of trouble.
What happens before the trade deadline?
If Daniel Jones gets slaughtered by Fred Warner, burying him into the dirt, there could be issues there. Not that it would kill your team, but it could cause issues. Same thing with Mac Jones. If Mac Jones just gets benched for Julian Edelman to come play quarterback, he played at Kent State. Who knows?
Yeah, you actually bring a good point up that there's too many other strong teams in the AFC to send everyone from the North.
Yeah.
Like there just is this year. We've got a good conference.
Yeah. It could easily be one of those situations where the majority of the top 12 picks are NFC teams.
Which is just shocking because I think it was just as recent as last year we were talking about how the NFC was significantly stronger than all but like 2 of the AFC teams, and now we've got, I don't know, I think we've got probably 8 juggernauts or 7 or 8 really good teams in the AFC right now.
Yeah. Well, you had the goose rebuild of the Chiefs, essentially. Last year was his first year kind of running that team. And then you just have all the draft capital that's been, fluctuated into the Jets and Titans to make them better for next year as well.
And Bill rebuilt and has a team, and
I bought a team on day 1.
You bought a team. All right, I think that's enough AFC North. We're going to keep this sucker on track here. As much as I like to talk about myself, my division mates.
I thought this was the AFC North podcast.
Oh, never mind. All right, let's dig in then, boys.
Mike, are you still there?
Moving on. Let's if Mike's not there, we'll take over. Let's just work our way down the main page and head to the south in the AFC.
I do want to point out one thing. Bill has only scored 4 more points than a 1-3 team.
That 1-3 team beats like 5 other divisions for total points.
Oh yeah, I know. It's just funny when you only add that context to it and you don't add anything else.
Bill, your team is trash. It's time for a rebuild.
Yeah, bro.
I'm going to tear it down immediately.
Send everybody over here for nothing. Thank you.
So we're doing the South then. So the AFC South.
AFC South. Let's go.
So I think the biggest surprise is Colts being in first.
Mike called it. Mike pointed out he's got it on some spreadsheet somewhere that I'm sure he changed this morning, but it's in there.
He did.
I don't mind him being in first. I just think it was surprising that he's in first already. Like I thought this was pretty clearly going to be Jags' division.
Well, last week he got helped
Jags
out
was
by
more points scored.
Yeah. It was just week 1 he happened to have that 3-sack Josh Allen game, which was like 37 points. And he had some guys that just blow up that week. And then this last week he just got enough done, and a lot of that came from, Kirk Cousins and Dell and that long touchdown to Pickens. Other than that, just some points here and there.
No, I don't think Jags even deserves to be in first. Like, he still has a $6 million Rex Burkhead on his roster.
Yeah. I don't know why he won't come.
That's true. I mean, he's pretty good, this Burkhead.
We gotta hold up here. I think Browns wants to get in on the pod. We may
Oh,
have
jeez.
to. We may have to go revisit the North for him. But
No.
but Colt has to be thrilled with the fact that he couldn't get his first back and he starts off 4-0 for this year. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's exactly what he wanted to do. He's got youth and he's not tanking yet this year. So that pick is becoming less and less valuable after the first 2 weeks. Like it's a long season, but he's gone a long way at making sure that's not going to be a top 10 pick.
So while we patiently wait to talk about the AFC North, let's and the Browns. Let's talk about the real life Browns and last night and the title of the podcast.
Oh God.
I don't understand how people feel it was a dirty hit. I don't understand how people can say that Myles Garrett is a better pass rusher than T.J. Watt, and I don't understand how people can keep defending Deshaun Watson as a good quarterback.
Wait,
So
this is
what Bill is
supposed to be
saying
about Chubb.
is, Sean,
Yeah,
you
right.
really get on the
Just
podcast.
hates the Browns.
I asked about a guy's leg bending the wrong way, and you
Right.
just
Well, it's not a dirty hit. That's what I know.
He's had those points queued up for an hour and a half, just waiting.
I don't know that he ever plays again.
It wasn't quite that bad. Like, don't get me wrong, that one's awful. But I've seen like Jalen Smith's and I know he only went on to have essentially a 4-year productive career.
They haven't actually announced what the injury is, though.
Yeah, but have you seen the Jalen Smith knee bend? Like, I've seen a lot worse bends than that, and seen guys go on to play for a couple of years. It's really whether or not Nick Chubb wants to, because it's very, very long rehab for those guys. It's really hard. It's away from the team, and then you come back and you're in a position where it's like you're in a contract year, and they aren't gonna appreciate everything you've done in the past. They're gonna want to see you, and unless you come out and have an AP type year, your chance of ever getting money is essentially zero. And if anything, you get tagged. So it might be one of those where he just takes his career earnings and bows out. Like, he's got the third best yards per carry in NFL history, over like 500 carries. So he's got a decent shot of being a Hall of Famer long term, like way down the road. But I don't know what else he can do. Like, unless the Browns start looking like an actual Super Bowl contender, then he could really cement his legacy.
They won't.
But yeah.
No, Chubb and Eckler are just reinforcing the ownership not paying running backs. Like, this is why you don't pay them. And like, I know they're freak injuries, I get it, but like, this is just going to reinforce that whole argument. And then, like, especially when you have Kyron Williams going nuts and he's a 5th-round draft pick.
Well, they also have a vote to expand to 18 games coming up, I think, next year or the year after. So if they just keep adding and tacking on games, it's just going to keep devaluing running backs. We're going to see even more split backfields.
Yeah.
So,
it's definitely possible he never plays again, which is unfortunate.
But what can you do? All right, Browns, you want to talk about the AFC North, or you just agree with everything the Bengals said?
I didn't hear a lot of what Chris said, but
Good.
Only
that
good
anyway.
things. Only good. I said our division is fun. You agree, right?
it depends what you.
What I mean by fun.
I'm a big fan of, or I used to be a big fan of wrestling, and Jim Ross used to call a big match what's called a slobber knocker.
Slobber knocker.
So it's basically like that in every single game, and even the Steelers, who were basically the basement dweller of the AFC North for at least 2 years, they're 3-1. I mean, it truly is unbelievable.
It's true. The
Let me
AFC
go
North
back.
was the only division for every team to win their out-of-division game.
Let me go back here. I was talking to Steelers after his week 1 win, and he said he quoted, where he stated to me, "It's my first divisional win since 2020 Week 9."
Oh my god.
And I just believed him at face value because he's the kind of guy that would look that up.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
God.
It's
Who's
a
last
really.
place in the division, Browns?
I'm sorry, say it again.
Who ends in last place in the AFC North?
I have no idea. I mean, Chris is obviously the belle of the ball at this point, but Ravens is a good team. I think a good team. Steelers is a good team. It really is just a complete toss-up.
Are you choosing yourself then?
It could be. I have no idea. I really have no idea. I've had a couple injuries. I had Dobbins. I had.
Your whole defense is broken.
I looked today.
You have a
and
Q next to every safety on your team at the moment.
So it's funny. I looked earlier today. Literally every safety on my team, who at one point was a previously starting safety, is dead. They have no value whatsoever. So I've got to figure that out. But it's just like and the thing that gets me is when you look at other divisions and you see teams who are winning with no offense to Eagles, somebody put up 20 points and beat them. So it's like, it really is a tough pill to swallow when you put up 250 points and lose. But actually, that was last week. This week, it's so tough. So I don't know. I mean,
You know what this is? This is playoffs training. This is how this feels. To score 240 points, look at this and say, I'm going to lose this week. Like,
it really is. And I was looking at the games on Sunday night, and the Dolphins had a cornerback who put up like 40 points. I'm like, Jesus, you got to be kidding me. And then I was sweating out the game so hard last night. I was really sweating them out amongst a bunch of different leagues. I was sweating them out so hard. I was a big Alex Highsmith fan in my one league. I had him going, and he did really, really well. I lost by like a point. So this year has not gone as well for me as I would have liked. But long story short, I think my year is certainly salvageable. I don't know whether I'm going to be top dog, given that Chris has had a pretty good start. But yeah, it's been a tough.
Chris isn't that good. Don't worry about him.
And actually,
Have we mentioned my 340 point week yet? I don't know if we have.
Yeah, we did.
This right here, this is how you get ants.
Yep.
Which owner owns Chubb in this league?
Chargers. He joined and immediately saw his star running back blow at his knee, which is
That's
a tough pill to swallow.
Yeah.
For a moment, I forgot that Chargers owned Chubb, and I still thought it was Jeremy Packers. And I'm like, oh my gosh, another injury to his team. But if it wasn't the case.
Wanting to potentially let us do a deal with Chubb.
Did we
for
talk about
longer. Well,
trades?
maybe we'll talk about it next week. And then now Chubb's dead.
No, Chubb's dead. All right, did we talk about the AFC East yet?
Nope.
No.
All right. So, just to recap, I think we were pretty well split between the Dolphins and Bills for who was going to be the top dog here. And right now it's the Bills. So, wide receivers be damned.
For real.
Yeah.
His top receiver right now is Rashad Bateman with an 11.3. Not great. I think
Well,
that
he's also got a pretty simple start to the season so far.
still just
But he hasn't scored that bad either.
It's TJ Watt.
TJ Watt, yeah, he has 66.
Yeah.
Yeah, that helps.
He had Tyler Algier and TJ Watt go nuts in week 1. And then he had all his receivers come back, and TJ Watt went nuts again.
yeah.
Tony Pollard's been pretty consistent too.
That's
And, like,
true.
His corner and safety room has also been very productive since he has 10 bodies across the
Oh
positions.
my God, he's got
That's a lot of safeties.
Yeah,
he
but
I
also
was
a lot of
corners.
scoring.
That's a lot of corners.
he's preparing for the 2 cornerback requirement next year.
Yep. Yep.
Oh my God, 6
He's-
cornerbacks and 7 safeties, and they're all scoring.
Yeah, he's hoping that we change the playoffs to like a defensive back premium scoring or something.
He's going to roll the old Pats defense. We got 3 down linemen and 3 down linemen, a linebacker, and 7 corners.
Love it.
Should we just make our defense full flex in this league? Like, just run whatever you want.
I think that sounds like a fantastic
Right.
idea. If you want to make corners worth more, that might be the way to do it. Boom.
I'm
Jeremy,
gonna
we
try
solve
to
it.
I'm gonna try to assemble a defense of all defensive tackles,
Right?
starting and producing.
Aaron Donald versus Forrest Buckner.
Yep.
That'd be fun.
You know, if we ever wanted to clone this league, I think we just found the gimmick to do it.
There
Same
will never be
scoring, same idea.
never be a
Full
clone of
flex
this league.
offense and defense.
No, we have a chat for it. That's one step closer. In like a year or two, we'll actually do something.
Wait a minute, we have a chat for
We
it?
just,
Yeah.
no, yes, you know this. I told you this.
I don't remember this at all.
we have-
I may have been
we
drinking
had
that night.
preliminary discussion.
You're definitely drinking that now. You're always drinking.
We just need
Why
an
are you
off
acting,
season.
why are
where,
you
like,
acting upset about this? You are not butthurt about this. None of this upsets you.
That's right, because I'm always happy.
Exactly. All right. So yeah, Bills is a surprise. Good for Bills. AFC West. Broncos in first, Chiefs in second. I'm sorry to everybody else.
Yeah. Yeah.
See, again,
Bill?
this is one where I wish Raiders had more time to be active on this. Where it's like, I feel like he could have some fun breaking this down. Lamar's had a hell of a start. And not even from a fantasy perspective yet. Like, he's looked functional from a passing perspective, and he hasn't even had his 120-yard and 2 touchdowns rushing day yet.
Yeah.
Bless you.
Thank you. So,
Keep it going, Chargers. Tear it down. Already 0-4.
At this point, you may as well.
there's some fun to be had here in this division.
Yeah.
So RJ, you're the owner of the Chargers first.
That I am.
What entices you with his squad there? If you
Oh,
can respond.
Are you asking me to make a shopping list?
I'm asking you to make. I'm just saying, like, you're in an advantageous position owning the first of an 0-4 team and an active trader. Like, this is where profits can be made, or, well, could be made either by holding the pick or shopping it. What's your?
Well, I'm definitely open to moving it back to Chargers. I mean, it's going to end up costing like some of his larger assets. I'm probably out on Chubb at this point. Wouldn't even take a flyer on him just because
Yep.
of the cost. So, you know, I look at Sam Howell, and he's a young quarterback. I don't mind gambling on that. And I look at Brandon Ayuk, who's the wide receiver 1 in San Francisco. I don't know if there's anything else that appeals to me, but those are some pretty nice things.
Yeah, I was perusing his team pre-pod. I think he's going to be listening. I offered to him to join up, but think he's listening in. So just trying to give him some ideas if he does want to entertain a teardown as a new owner in the league.
Well, frankly, the post pod, if he wants to join that too, if he doesn't want to join the recording,
live.
join afterwards and have the conversation, more than welcome to do that too. We've had plenty of people join the post pod.
Yeah, I would encourage him to join the post pod, and you know, if he doesn't, to reach out. we can talk. And I still think even if he doesn't get the first back immediately, I think if he wants to repurpose some of his stuff, I don't think that's a bad idea, because it's like I'm not. There's no amount of losses he could accumulate to the point where I'm not going to give him back his first. So whether it be a few weeks from now, it's still something that could be talked about.
The price just goes up each loss.
Sure.
Yep.
It changes. Maybe it goes up, maybe it goes down. Who knows?
But yeah,
Alright.
it's
I'm tired of talking about the AFC.
no. We
Nobody cares
gotta let Bill have his moment. We gotta give him his 3 minutes.
What moment? He already
He's
had
been-
his 3 minutes. Shut
He's
up.
he's been patiently waiting there. Like I'm watching him.
What are you talking about? Patiently waiting. He already did his victory lap.
No. That was his Steelers rant. Like,
Bill
let's
did
give
not
him-
trade every 101 in the past 3 years to have us just, go over his team in less than a minute and a half.
All right, for fuck's sake. Okay, you guys host the podcast then.
Yo, Bill, what's your opinion on your start in the week and anything else you'd like to talk about?
No, I couldn't have asked for a better start to the season.
All right, time's up. All right.
I hate you all so much right now. All right,
I love it.
NFC North. I'm leading the division at 3-1. Packers are 2-2. Lions and Bears. Lions is the surprise team here, who could be a lot of fun, especially with his $106 million in cap space. I'm sorry,
Yeah,
107.
a lot of fun.
I don't think he has any interest in competing this year. So I think,
The Lions?
yeah, I don't think.
Yeah, sure.
No, he has none. But again, things that would be fun. He has a quarterback. He has a starting running back. He's 3 deep at receiver. This would be fun to see him say, "Screw it, let me pick up a couple things on the cheap." And I hate you guys.
Hey guys, watch out. He has Amari Rodgers. We're all a little scared.
got so mad.
I hate you guys so much. All right.
I mean, he's got Jerome Ford, right? Like, I kind of don't disagree that Lions could try something.
Yeah, but he's also got like 5 guys who have been on a roster in like 2 months at this point.
Yeah, I mean, it would take some activity, but I think I was trying to pull up his draft assets. He doesn't have a huge surplus. He got like an extra second, third, and fourth. But I'm always for people trying to win.
Having the
It's in my
fun.
division.
Well, there's plenty of people trying to do that in your division too. So NFC South, Bucks leading it at 4-0. Panthers sitting there at 3-1. Falcons at 1-3, and Saints at 1-3 as well. I mean, Falcons at 1-3 is definitely one of those surprise starts. I think not that anyone's weak in the NFC South between you Bucks and of course James the Panthers, but not the record we're used to having next to Falcons.
So I have not
Yeah,
looked
he's
at
had some injury bad luck.
And also the
And
defense.
Anthony Richardson hasn't completed a game yet in his career.
That might help.
Yeah, no, he just lost Shaq Thompson for the year. Eric Kendricks might be out another couple more games. His linebacking core is now essentially paper thin. The end room is paper thin. Like he has to make moves to become more competitive. If he actually wants to win this division or compete in the conference.
No, I think it makes a lot more sense for him to pack it in, build for next year, especially before this week. Definitely before this weekend.
Are you guys playing? Let me guess.
What makes you say that?
You got to be a savvy bet in this league to pay attention to that type of stuff.
And props to the NFC South, though. Everybody scored over 200. I know the AFC North has done it 2 weeks in a row, but the NFC South is the second division to do it this year.
All right, and congratulations to the Giants for jumping out to 4-0 over the Cowboys at 3-1. You are the leader in the NFC East right now, which is turning out to be a bit of a powerhouse division too.
Is it?
Yeah, look out for my 152 points.
The Eagles put up 20 points last week.
I think it was like 40 or something like that. I tried really hard for those 40 points.
Okay. Congratulations. You did a great job.
I think Jamar Chase doubled his production from the week prior. Oh, no, it was actually worse. Never mind.
It was actually worse.
That's actually really great for you.
It
Well
is.
done. No, I was more giving credit to Commanders and his 290 that he dropped, despite not being either you or Cowboys. But, yep, roses to RJ as well.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but Giants looked like he was in a very bad situation until, was it Monday night, Sunday night, around that time?
There was a little bit of I'll call it intrigue down. Not didn't get too close, but there was definitely some intrigue.
Right. It was.
Against yourself.
No, I thought
Cowboys.
Cowboys made it a
Cowboys
decent
haven't
game
broken it.
until.
Yeah.
I think I was up like a pretty decent amount going into Monday, but I mean, my team's hasn't had
You're-
any pop offs really on offense, so I'm excited for a regression to hit the squad.
The defense has been carrying you for sure the first few weeks, which is a good thing when you're still 250 or 200 plus off of defense.
Gabe Davis showed up.
He did. I own him in too many leagues.
Yep.
Imagine
You also
that.
don't have any injuries.
Imagine that.
Got 2 more good games of him left this year. And it's all over with.
That's it.
You just
Looking
wait.
at Giants, I mean, Giants roster has no injuries, so
Buda
We're-
Baker is on IR, my man.
Did you
so,
lose Buddha?
so a single safety.
Yeah.
Okay, that
Bummer.
What
sorry.
happened to him?
I mean,
Yeah, what happened to him?
Hamstring injury. They put him on IR on Monday. Apparently, the Eagles are interested, and I'm also interested in selling him for points.
I might come back.
Buda Baker.
Well, IR is a what 4-week sentence?
4 week.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll talk post pod.
There's trades to be made there. All right,
it's weird seeing
NFC West. Any thoughts outside of congratulations to the Rams for jumping out to the lead?
I
just
thought Seahawks would be better.
I thought 49ers or Cardinals would, well, maybe not Cardinals, but 49ers could compete, but I think they decided to pack it in early.
This is one of the
tank.
This is one of the divisions Browns was talking about, where it's really sad to see somebody at 4-0 at 430 points. And yeah, like the Rams team is okay, but like he'll win the division, but it's going to be very hard for him the moment playoffs start with that squad.
Yeah, the Ravens has 1,000 points scored against them. The Rams has less than 600. So.
Well, I mean, you know, that'll be the fun part of the year. But that's crazy. He has less than 600. Everybody else has over 700 scored against him in the division. That's crazy.
Well, it's what
Yeah,
happens when the rest of your division mates suck and
Yeah,
they don't
I guess
score
that's
against
true.
you.
Yeah,
The
like
division's fucking
he's the only
terrible.
team with points. Yeah, that's fair.
He is going to win the division while also rostering Kennedy Brooks and Abraham Smith and Kendall Hinton. Yeah, he was quarterback one time.
he might be the early division winner. Like he might be the one that has his division wrapped up by the trade deadline.
Agree. That could be true.
Yep.
Just nobody else gives a shit, really, more than anything else.
Well, I mean, that's not.
49ers definitely cares. He just doesn't have enough to do it.
Cardinals gives a shit. He put up 214 points. He's trying really hard to suck.
Cardinals he's already made his moves for the rebuild. It's like he gets a pass.
Yeah, once he got rid of Burrow and Justin, it was on. All he cares about right now is getting that 101.
Dude, his kicker and punter are getting way too many points.
You should just cut him.
I'm sure he can do something about that.
That's terrible
encourage
advice.
that.
Let's scrub the last 10 seconds of this pod. It's an illegal roster.
Oh,
We will
jeez.
flag it.
We can. This is why we can't have nice things. All right, you guys ready to talk trades?
We'll do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. 15 deals happening since last week. We'll start with the most important one. Bill trading Deion Jackson and Kobe Turner for Durham Smith and a fourth.
Hey, it worked out nicely.
Apparently, Durham's the starting tight end in Miami.
He has played 100% of the snaps this season.
That's something.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not doing shit with it. He has 44 yards and
But
he has 6 catches for 67 yards for the season.
Yeah, but Darren Fells did that same thing for the Texans for a couple of years. It was just like a super efficient blocker, and then at a certain point, he became a red zone target and had like 6 or 8 touchdowns one year.
Yeah. The downside of Durham is Tyreek Hill. He gets everything.
Oh,
yeah, they don't get in the red zone because they just score from 80 yards away.
80 yards away.
No, it's Smith will be a good like safety net at tight end, right? Like
Yeah.
5-6 points, even if it's not flashy, it's better than a 0 at the tight end position from week to
Yeah.
week. So
He's been my
This
starter
week
every
might be
week.
telling too, because Waddle has a concussion, right? He might not play this week.
Oh, I have no idea. But that's good to know.
Yep. Could be an issue. No, it's not going to be an issue for the Broncos. They've got Elijah Molden at corner for a 5th round pick.
Just bolstering the cornerback room.
Important pickup right there.
how much thought was given to this trade? Was this like a conversation, or was this a random send and accept?
No,
Out of the, like,
he sent it to me earlier
It was
in
a
the week
post-pod
for
trade.
nothing. And then it was just
Okay.
like, hey, you want him? Sure.
Yeah, he put up 15 and 7 points.
Yeah.
no, I'm not arguing against the trade. I'm just wondering how much thought goes into a cornerback for 5th round pick. You know,
Oh,
deal.
Literal-
Very little.
Like,
Okay.
is his contract under $1 million? Yes. Okay.
So
And
for any
then-
new people listening, cornerbacks are not worth anything except for late round picks. Again,
And
just
still-
reiterating.
And next year.
Not unless they're good, really good ones.
Darius Sneed is not a free throw in on any trade offers.
Who?
He's
All
worth
right.
something. Sneed. Everyone likes
RJ
to
rips
throw
me
him in.
off. Yep. All right, so RJ rips me off for a 3rd round pick here. Jervon Dexter, Rashawn Evans, and Andrew Van Ginkel. Hey, if I hung on to Van Ginkel, this would have been good, but God damn it, Chris.
I'm sorry, Mike.
Evans got cut before he even made it through a whole week with the Eagles. Dexter kind of hit. He put up 12 points last week, but oh man, Van Ginkel was the best part of that deal.
I mean, if you don't look at trades that occurred after this looks really good for you, maybe.
Yeah, just on its face, this is a great deal for Vikings. and then we continue.
Excellent. Then Bill grabs Quan from me for Jadavion, Blake Cashman, and Corey Littleton. So, yes, I will take your 2 linebacker dumps for a Jadavion for Quan swap, and Quan showed out.
They scored roughly the same.
To be fair, Clowney also hit last week.
Yeah, Clowney got 16.7 and Quan got 15.1. So they did roughly the same. I had forgotten about this deal because our commanders and chiefs here decided to take all these deals they were alerted to post-pod and not do anything with them until the morning after. And I fucked up later, but but that's on me. I still like the deal though. Clowney for Quan worked out nicely.
Yep.
Didn't think you were going to catch a stray on the pod here, did you, Chris?
Catches strays all the time.
These things happen.
Bill
I'm not-
basically said that he expects you to process his trades 24/7 when he
You know, most
I'm pretty sure
nights-
Bill called you his bitch. I'm almost certain that's what I heard.
That's okay. Bill's nice to me, so he can call me names once in a while.
I'm one of the few that doesn't call for a trade czar.
You are one of the few. That is probably why I like you more than a few of the others present.
How dare you? All right. Bears giving up Trevor Siemian and the super valuable Giants 25 first and Eagles 25 third for Taylor Heineke and Desmond Ritter, who was embracing his Michael Vick on this week. It was 39 yards rushing on 10 attempts, 230 yards passing, almost 23 points in this league. Hey, he may have a future here.
We should have had 4 interceptions.
We
I might
we've
have
been
sold too early.
There were a lot.
we've been hard on Bears a lot on the pod. A few of us anyway. A few of you, I should say. I'm not mean to anyone. But
Let's be real.
I like this trade for Bears when it went down. I don't hate it for RJ either. But I think Bears got a starting QB for very cheap, which is what he needed with not owning his own pick. So maybe he can salvage a few games out of spite and not let, I think Titans owns his pick. Not let
Yep.
Titans profit off of it too much. And if Ritter works out, I mean, that's probably the cheapest you'll find a starting QB go for, unless you're talking Ryan Tannehill or maybe Baker right now. Like, you're not going to see much cheaper than a Giants 2025 first, which
Yeah, that's fair.
right? Like, it's hard to hate on the trade. But again, RJ is tanking. He gets another pick. Like, it's hard to hate on it from your side too.
Right.
This is true. All right, and then
Ooh,
I-
fun one.
don't hang on to Burrow for too long. Burrow and James Houston to Bill for Kenny Pickett, James Conner, Troy Hendrickson, and Minka Fitzpatrick. So I get a few more starters. Bill gets a lot better at quarterback.
This is where I messed up. I forgot that I moved Clowney in the prior deal, and I gave up 2 DNs to Mike in the same night.
Oh, I see why you don't like me now. Yep. Those did all process in the morning at 7:04 a.m.
Yeah. Yeah. So it was like, oh shit, I forgot all about that. But no, like I feel good about this, regardless of what happens with Burrow and his calf, and whatever his contract comes up to be. Not a huge fan of losing Connor and Trey, even though it was my idea to do this deal. But I'm not a huge fan of it. But I had to do what I had to do to upgrade.
Yep. Yep. So I'm torn. Like, I like you getting Burrow,
Mhm.
but if I was sitting and looking at that roster as my own, I would be like terrified of injuries now, because you've got a very good team, but it's very thin.
Very studs and scrubs.
Yep.
But that was my thing with Connor was is Burrow worth losing my RB2 for? And is Trey worth moving off of because of his contract? Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, when you think about it, yes, Burrow is worth all of this, right? Is he worth it in this type of a year? Still, yes, but he's having a really rough start to the season.
See, I like looking at trades like this because like value is hard to judge on QB sometimes, especially with somebody like Burrow. Like a lot of times you want, the farm for someone like Burrow. And
Mhm.
then we look at this trade and like from my perspective it's like, oh, you made yourself so shallow and you gave up so much. But then in reality it's a QB, a 1-year running back, and then a couple defensive pieces to go from Pickett to Burrow. Like if you look at it in a vacuum,
Yeah.
I would take the Burrow side 100% of the time when I'm looking at the actual reality of what Mike wanted to do on his team to get more starters. Like it makes sense from that perspective of, hey, I need points across multiple positions. Let's break down the key piece and flush out the roster now that he sees that he's got a shot to win the division.
Yeah. This is one of those deals that's like you don't always need picks to make deals like this.
This is a pick this is a trade where we have a completely different opinion on it in the off season. Like if this were a deal that were to happen in the off season, we say Bill won it, 100%.
Yeah. My issue is, future Bronco problem, but I'm going to have to pay Burrow and figure that cap situation out later. But, I do agree. Off-season versus in-season outlook is very different.
That's going to be expensive.
I think you said it last. I think it was you, RJ, and it was last year. Can't remember if it was during a pod or during a post pod where you said like play during the season like redraft, and then off season is dynasty in this league. And that's exactly what this trade is.
Yep. Yeah, that is. I think that is the best way to approach this league, and that's that trade is a great example of how we would assess things differently given the time of year.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So I love this next trade. Drake Jackson and the Saints 24 third for N'Kobe Dean, Keely Ringo, and the Dolphins 24 second. So Cardinals takes a D end, profiting on a strong week one, flipping him into the Dolphins for Dean, who just got hurt, and then upgrading a third to a second. It's a win-win. Cardinals upgrades his draft capital and grabs another injured player to stash. Dolphins grabs another D end. He had now Burns and Jackson's, so he actually has the makings of the start of a defense.
I don't like this for Dolphins at all. I feel like he gave up the two best pieces in the trade.
Well, you and I disagree on Drake Jackson.
Yeah, I'm not as high on Dean as you might be, RJ. I still like it for Cardinals. I don't hate it for Dolphins. I've got a little bit more to say on it. I'll wait till other opinions come out though.
I don't know. I view Dean as an interior linebacker that is going to be one of those tackle machines most of the time. And
healthy.
Right. And sure, like health is going to be a hurdle, but at a certain point, like he'll probably be healthy. Say he takes the rest of the year off. Like long term, Dean is one of those, top 8 type of linebackers that gives you a lot of points just based off of tackles, and he's super consistent, or will be super consistent. And then a second round pick. I don't really see where Jackson and a third really amounts to more than just maybe like Dean.
Yeah, I mean, prior to this, Dean, did he have an injury history?
Yeah, he was out for a whole year, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Right?
In college or in NFL?
NFL. His rookie year, he missed the whole year.
Oh, shit, man. Okay.
Now he's on IR. Couldn't finish the first game.
He actually had 7 games played last year, I've got 7 games with points on there, and then 1 game this year with points. So technically, from an extension perspective, he'll be okay. Oh, he's first round pick, so you have to do a 5th-year option anyway. Yep. Never mind. The only other comment I had on this was more for, again, any newer owners that might be watching or people that don't follow along, is again on the Cardinals side, where they're obviously in tank mode, just acquiring all these extra pieces and all the extra picks that are on IR, setting yourself up for next year. RJ, you did this last year, a couple of years ago, where you had 10, 12 guys on IR that would all produce that you had accumulated. Really helps jumpstart that rebuild when he comes in next year and he's got 3 picks or 4 picks or whatever, 4 firsts and 3 firsts and some seconds, along with everyone coming back from IR. It's a really quick way to jumpstart the rebuild.
Yep, I agree. Although when you do that, you have to be very mindful of the amount of years you're carrying, because you can quickly realize that you don't have as many years as you thought you did when all those guys come off of IR.
Well, and again, that same concept is the next deal here. Pat's given up Isaiah Hodgins, the Chiefs 24 second, and the Jets 24 third for J.K. Dobbins and Kenny Golladay. So Golladay just looks like it's a cap dump at this point. He hasn't caught on any place. But then J.K. Dobbins, of course. Look, if he can somehow catch on and do something next year, it's a really cheap running back. But that's a big if.
Well, he's going into his 5th-year option, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But I mean, the 5th-year option's already been picked up, so it's, I don't know.
Oh, you meant cheap as in capital to acquire.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's a big risk, and the upside is like paying $16 million for a top 30 running back.
Yeah.
Yeah, the problem with Dobbins is I think like the most games he's played in a season is like 10.
Yeah.
I mean, you're getting half a season of productivity if he lands somewhere after this injury. He's also not re-signed with the Ravens, right? So he did that like soft holdout or whatever in camp holdout this summer trying to get a deal.
Yeah, so I've had a bunch of interest in Dobbins, but none of which was anywhere near what I thought he was worth. Of course, this is pre-injury, and post-injury, I had almost nobody say that, like, hey, listen, I'll give you X, Y, Z for him. And Patriots reached out to me and said, hey, listen, I have interest. He sent over this offer, and I'm not usually the kind of person who accepts an offer that somebody initially sends over, but it seemed to work out. I mean, Dobbins, at least to me, I couldn't extend him because he was worth probably $16 million over the next, whatever it was, 2-3 years. And I literally couldn't pay it. And Golladay, I paid, actually this sounds horrible. I traded the Ravens for Alex Highsmith in some, maybe like 2 or 3 years ago for Kennedy Golladay, and it didn't work out. Long story short, I was able to get Isaiah Hodgins, who I know he wanted off his roster because he is a tanking team. Isaiah Hodgins, whether you like him or not, he's actually a pretty good player. He's got a really, really terrible contract, like $22 million and change, but he's like a wide receiver too. I want to say over the last second half of last year, he was like a wide receiver 25 or 26, something like that. So he's a good player. His contract just stinks. So he sent that over to me. I had not had I had like maybe 1 or 2 teams offer me a second, but the fact that he took Golladay off my hands and offered Hodgins helped. It also didn't hurt that I had a pretty good amount of cap space available. So I thought this was okay to accept. I really wish Dobbins the best. I like him as a player. I like him as a person. But I think that after the ACL and the Achilles, if I'm a betting man, it's tough to say that, listen, I think he's going to be a productive person 2-3 years from now. I just didn't have the ability to pay him that. Patriots did. I think he did a good buy low. We'll see what happens. At the end of the day, I think it worked out for both of us.
Yeah, I like Dobbins as a player, but with the injuries, I'm kind of surprised you even got Lat for him in here, because I know you sent me a message on saying what I thought he was worth, and it's after that injury in his history, it's hard to say he's worth anything. Like in other leagues I'm in, I can't get a second for him, which it just sucks for the guy. So yeah, I like the deal for you, but it also makes sense for Patriots taking a shot at it.
Yeah, I mean, I sort of tested the waters and hey, what do you think about XYZ? And Patriots offer was pretty much the highest offer I got, and I think potentially it has a good chance to be a really good deal for him, especially given that he's a tanking team and things like that. But if you would have asked me probably about 7 or 8 days prior to this offer whether I thought I would have ever accepted what I did, I would say absolutely not. But the circumstances are what they are. So.
Yep. Sometimes you got to make the pivot.
Yep.
All right. Moving right along here. Bears moving off of Khalil Mack for Richie Grant and a 4th. Linebacker for safety and a 4th. Hooray.
Khalil Mack used to be worth so much at one point.
Yeah. He's been so wonderful.
Yeah. Again, second Bears trade that I actually like from Bears here.
Yeah.
Richie Grant's a starting safety. Again, safeties traditionally are worth less than linebackers, but he's got a much better contract, and I think his first 2 games haven't been great, but I think more points are on his way. He was a Pro Bowler last year in this league at safety. So
yeah, I'm a huge fan of this for Bears.
Yeah.
All right. And then this next deal isn't that big of a deal.
This is the deal from the list that we have.
So RJ takes me out back. Sorry. Chris takes me out back and steals Andrew Van Ginkel from me, as well as some guy named Justin Jefferson and Boye Mafe.
The throw-ins for the Van Ginkel.
For Garrett Wilson, Kwity Paye, Aziz Ojulari, Kyle Van Noy, and 2/3.
Well, the week didn't make this look great.
Nope.
At least you got points at the end. Pay got a ton, and then Mafe didn't even play. That's positive.
Now, the good thing here is,
right.
it wouldn't have changed the outcome regardless.
If we're being realistic, Van Ginkel got more snaps because Phillips was out this week.
Yeah,
exactly. Right. It's not like he's turned into a stud. I got lucky on a guy that we added in to make sure years and such worked on the deal.
No, I mean,
he dropped 40. He had a 16-point game. He got a sack. Great.
Yeah. No, it's just fun to do this because Chris and I have a nice little running joke about queer giraffes.
It's the Gladiator. You sold me queer drafts. Yep. Any player I send to Mike immediately turns to trash. But that didn't happen with it. Both Paye and Wilson did fine.
All right, so moving
I
along.
think it's a little cheap on the Jefferson sale. I feel like it's a little cheap. I think Chris got a decent deal on this. I know Pay and Wilson are obviously both very good assets, but I think JJ is just a tier above Wilson and will remain such. So I don't know. I thought it was a little cheap.
It's all about
So,
the upcoming contract.
I did shop Wilson. I don't remember last pod if you guys discussed. I did offer Wilson. I wanted to move from him. I talked to most of you on the pod here. I actually discussed with Browns and Lamb. Went to RJ, had Chase discussion, and Mike here, and nothing materialized right away. So it wasn't a spur of the moment thing. And a lot of this, I think JJ has a lot more value if he's got one, if he was a year earlier on his contract. The fact that he's going to be owed a bajillion dollars at the end of the season does matter somewhat. But like during the season, it's going to be a blast to own him. It's just payday is going to be coming, and I'll have to make some moves end of year to make sure that everything fits.
Y'all are so afraid of expensive offensive pieces.
Well, have
It's
fun.
okay when he's year one.
Have fun paying Najee Harris RB2 in Pittsburgh next year, $20 million or whatever his extension is going to be. Well, Chris has a $7 million RB1.
Yeah, because the touches are leaning that way. Bill, you should know better.
Najee
Watch
just,
these games.
Najee just looks so slow. I don't know what it is. He just looks so slow. I don't know. I don't know what his future holds.
Well, Warren just looks fast because he's always on the field for 3rd and long when they're not packing the box. Maybe if your stupid little quarterback could actually chuck it a little bit, they wouldn't.
All right, Broncos gave up Jalen Johnson and 3/4 for Chauncey Golston. Bears get Jack Sanborn for free. Patriots give a 1st and a 3rd for Devin Lloyd. WTF. Rasheed Blackshear and a 4th for DeMonte Kazee. Still didn't get Goose the win. And then, of course, this afternoon's Bobby Brown, Chuck Clark, Adrian Phillips, and 2/4 for Jonathan Cooper. The Goose poo-poo platter of 2 picks and a bunch of things I picked up off of the waiver wire last week for a productive player. Good times.
I really hate the Patriots 1st and a 3rd for Lloyd. He has not been impressive.
Lloyd was
Jacksonville.
a first-round pick.
I love it. Keep it going, Chargers.
I like it. I like it for Chargers, right? Like whether they're competing or rebuilding, like it's good value on a first trade for an owner that had been in here, left, came back. I can't remember how long he was in, not for long. So good first deal.
Yeah, sorry if I was confusing. I did not like it from Patriots side.
Right. Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
That was understood.
Okay.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think we're all on the same page, and RJ likes it because he gets a better pick in the draft from his perspective.
I mean, yes, but I do like it just for Chargers. Like I said,
I mean, Chargers is starting his acquisition of 3rd-round picks, so he can do the exact same thing he did when he was the Texans and just draft all the corners.
All of the corners.
Is that the team he owned before this?
Yeah, he was
Yes.
all the corners in Texans.
He heard about the 2CB starting rule next year, and
He's just
ready to
running
roll.
with it.
All
He's
right,
going to get that Kool-Aid.
let's get to the fun shit. Enough of the pod. On to the trading. If you want to join the post-pod festivities, drop somebody a note. Otherwise, enjoy. Thanks for tuning in, and good luck this week.